Hey, good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? You know, I post a lot of photos on my Arizona sunrise walkabouts, and well, we haven't got together and chewed the fat in a bit, and well, I thought it was a good morning to bring you along for a little visit, just sit and chat some. Touch of fall in the air here for Arizona fall anyway. It's oh gosh, about 60, 65 degrees this morning. Still going to get up in the 90s. You have to expect that, though, here in the desert country. You know, I can't remember the last time we just got together and visited like old friends and talked a bit. And sure hope everybody's doing well today and starting off a new week. And I don't know about anybody else, but I find it hard to believe that we're closing in on the end of September already. It's kind of mind-boggling. I got wrapped up in some deadlines, and that really makes the time fly even faster. I'm playing a rousing game of beat the clock right now. Got a October 1st deadline for a new book, and I'm taking it right down to the wire on this one. If you like this country, the pictures I share, and these little morning walkabouts, and if you're in the neighborhood this Saturday morning, I'll post the information later on the Jim Hinckley's America page, but to foster greater community awareness about area history, attractions, tourism, Mojave Community College has retained my services. We're going to be doing a series of walkabouts here, and this Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, I'll be up here in these canyons. Right down below me here behind is part of the 1880s Stockton Hill wagon road. You can still find the ruts in the rocks. And then back up the canyon a piece is what I think, I'm pretty positive, is the old Taggart Road, which connected Kangman with some of the mining camps here in the Surbat Mountains. And that's something to kind of keep in mind. I'm doing some community education classes, and I'll be talking with those folks today on the next round of classes. I've done some classes on the evolution of Route 66 and the romanticism of tourism. And it's great to work with them, and it's great to see people eager to learn a tad bit about Kangman. And with that said, I sure want to thank Gene Kirkham and his crew hosting Chillin' on Beale. Boy, those folks work their behinds off to make sure that event, it's held on the third Saturday afternoon of every month, April through October here in Kangman. And it's just a good, fun-filled event that centers on cars and music. And I was really honored this past weekend was Andy Devine Days, and they asked me to step up to the microphone and do a little bit about Andy Devine. And Andy Devine Avenue here in Kingman is the Route 66 corridor. And in 1955, Front Street was renamed Andy Devine Avenue for the town's favorite son, and during an episode of This Is Your Life. And, well, you know, time passes. Fame is a fleeting thing, and a lot of people don't know who Andy Devine is or don't remember all the things he did. So it's kind of nice. I made it a little bit of a trivia contest, and as always, I want to give a shout out to the Kingman Route 66 Association and the Rio Nuevo Publishing and Steve Wagner down at the Route 66 Yacht Club. They provide me with souvenirs. Rio Nuevo sends me a few books that I can give out as gifts, prizes at these events. And I also give out, they give me pins and buttons and different things here. The Kingman Route 66 Association especially has been supportive. Enables me to provide the tour groups I meet with a little bit of a souvenir for their stop in Kingman. It's always, well, it kind of enhances the visit, if you will. And talking of visits a bit, you know, one thing I have missed sorely, among many things, in this past year and a half, this 18 months of the ongoing multifaceted apocalypse, he is visiting with my friends, and especially my friends from Australia and New Zealand and Europe and Japan and just about all the points in between. Yesterday I had an opportunity to sit down with Zdeněk Jurisic from the Czech Republic, a good friend of mine, founder of the Czech Route 66 Association and Radio 66. And it was nice to sit down with him and do a live stream radio program for the Czech audience while we were down at Mr. D's Route 66 diner here in Kingman. We'd planned on doing this at the Powerhouse Visitor Center, but apparently they got real restricted, limited hours. They're closed on Sundays down at the Visitor Center, so we improvised. We went over to Mr. D's. And speaking of the Powerhouse, I should notify you that their hours are like 9 to 4. I've had some questions, but the last tour through the museums is 1 hour before closing. So kind of keep that in mind if you're visiting Kingman. Well, I'll tell you, this is where I find solace. I try to get out here. You can hear a little bit of traffic noise, believe it or not, in this beautiful canyons. I-40 is just about 1 mile as the buzzard flies that direction, back on the other side of those buttes and mesas. But even with a little bit of traffic noise, the farther you get up the canyon, then the traffic noise is replaced by the sounds of the railroad, a little bit more romantic. But, you know, I can't recommend enough morning walkabouts. John Adams talked a lot about the importance of walkabouts to clear the head. And it's a great way to start the day. And as much as I love pie and good beer, I start to look a little bit like a beach ball. But walkabout keeps that kind of in check and gives me time to do some thinking. Start the day fresh and clear-headed. And it's been, you know, bone dry out in this country the last few years. This year has been, we had started out with a fair monsoon, and June was the hottest I've ever experienced in this country. Humid too, very unusual. But overall, we're dry. I mean, it's so damn dry, we're going to be hunting jerky instead of deer this year. But you get out in these canyons come sunrise, you can scare up a bit of wildlife, and it's good to see the deer in the box canyons and on the ridge line. And some mornings I got some coyotes that'll shadow me out here, and turned up a gray fox or two. And my last trip out to the springs in Johnson Canyon, I turned up some pretty big cat tracks, definitely not bobcat, and they were somewhat fresh, and kind of makes you a little jumpy. But, you know, I get a lot of questions when I go out like this. What about snakes? You know, the key is to pay attention. Don't put your hands in cracks, under rocks, things of that nature, scorpions, snakes. Stay in clear areas, stay away from brush, but pay attention. And, you know, this whole summer, coming out here at sunrise, I've run across 2 snakes on the trails. And both of them were bull snakes, non-poisonous. And I've never had a problem with snakes all my years of wandering this country. So it's just like a lot of things. Paying attention, common sense. I'm really glad everybody enjoyed the program yesterday morning on Andy Devine. I got another one coming up this Sunday. And I got to put that one together yet. My schedule's been awful tight. I keep promising everybody a nice Zoom presentation. That'll be a pay-per-view program. I have the program all together, and I've got it set up with Eventbrite, but I don't want to shortchange anybody. And I just haven't had the time to really do this. Once I get this book behind me, I think I can do that. Going back, something I just thought of. Zdeněk's on the road doing interviews and whatnot, and reach out to him through the Czech Route 66 Association on Facebook. And if you can offer him a meal or a discounted motel room, of course, that's always appreciated to help out these folks. And starving artist, if you will, I can kind of relate to that. I count heavily on supporters of our crowdfunding initiative to pay for this equipment and the monthly subscription to keep this equipment running. And I also count on some of our sponsors like Louis Keene. They're at Uranus Fudge Company and General Store. God bless. You know, he believed in this since I first started it, and he's always been there. It's likewise with David and Amanda Brenner out at the Roadrunner Lodge, and God bless Connie Eccles down at the Wagon Wheel Motel in Cuba. These folks have always been there to keep moving Jim Hinckley's America forward, and for that I'm damn grateful. We've got these educational programs we're developing, and like I say, I'm depending heavy on our Patreon crowdfunding initiatives. We're going to be developing some real educational programs for next year. Hopefully get this thing back on an even keel. I'm starting to get bookings. I'm starting to take bookings for next spring. Today I'll confirm one down in Apache Junction in January. And I might be heading for Bisbee in October, end of October this year. And next year, hopefully take this show on the road again. And now's the time. Believe it or not, in the BC era, before COVID, I get pretty busy with speaking engagements. So if you want me to show up for a fundraiser, museum, an event, something to liven up your corporate meeting, I'll show up and beat my gums on tourism, on Route 66, on the American Southwest, and the evolution of the American auto industry. Well, I sure don't want to tie anybody up, and it's getting close to my breakfast time, but we just hadn't had a chance to sit and visit for a bit. And, well, I thought it was a perfect morning to bring you along and share an Arizona sunrise. Kind of partial to this country. You know, it's funny how if we're smart and the idea, you know, it's easy to become rigid as we get older, get set in our ways, if you will. And it becomes more and more of a challenge to be flexible. But I think if I can challenge you on this, find ways to challenge yourself with new experiences. Learn a new language. Sit down and have dinner with people that you don't agree with, have a different political opinion, a different religious opinion, and think a bit. Broaden your horizons, travel, get to know people. See if there's a way that you can make this old world a little bit better than it was when you got here, and your life will be a lot brighter. I try to do that a lot, and I just enjoy meeting people, talking with people, and I lack the discipline sometimes needed, but I am working to learn German. I need to brush up on my Spanish a bit. I used to have a fair handle on that language, working down along the border for some places like the Sierra Mesa spread back during my John Wayne period. But it's real easy to get ourselves split right now. And here in the Route 66 community, we need unity more than ever. The Route 66 Centennial's coming up, and folks there at One Stop 66, boy, I tell you, you know, they've got Route 66 Centennial merchandise to kind of remind yourself and your friends, make great gifts. Well, folks, I don't want to get too long-winded, but I did want to say good morning and share this beautiful sunrise with you. And, well, if you find yourself here in the Kangman area, give me a holler. I've just talked this weekend with Kendall Slack down at Mojave Heritage Tours, and it looks like he's going to be putting me to work. When you book a tour with Mojave Heritage Tours, you can add me to that, and I'll take you out here, give you a little bit of a walkabout, or I'll give you a tour of the powerhouse. And I should mention too, boy, one thing leads to another, doesn't it? The folks at Route Trip USA, really, really good folks. They just eat, drink, and sleep road trips. And if you book a Route 66 holiday with them or something here in the Southwest, for a few extra bucks, you can add on me. I'll sit down when we'll do a walkabout here downtown historic Kingman, or through the powerhouse, the museums. and I'll get you into some special places, and I'll take you, we'll go out to eat and hoist a pint or two, or get a cup of coffee, do a bit of visiting. That's Route Trip USA. I guess I got one more for you. This trail system, Colorado River Trail Alliance, Kingman Main Street, has been developing a lot of this, but about 2 miles yonder is over towards Beale Springs and the Surbat Foothills Recreation Area. They're going to tie all this together, but there's about more than 30 miles of beautiful, beautiful hiking and mountain bike trails over in around the Camp Beale area. And in this area, as you can see below here, as the sun comes up, there's old roads and then a new trail system. This is what I'm on here is one of the new trails they've put in. And you're never too far away from town. I mean, it's just a spit and a holler over these hills. As the buzzard flies, gosh, I doubt if it's a 1.5 miles, 2 miles tops to downtown Kingman. And Rutherford's 66 Family Diner, about 3 miles this way, up the canyon and over the hill. I walk out that way for breakfast sometimes, and makes for a good outing. Well, folks, I sure won't tie you up this morning, but I'm glad we had this chance to sit and chew the fat a bit. And, well, we'll see you on the road, or we'll see you on Facebook, or see you on YouTube. Got some programs coming up. Keep you posted. And my friends, take care. And watch out for your neighbors now. Vaya con Dios, mi amigos. Adios.